Picture this. Deep beneath the moonlit waves of a warm Mediterranean sea, a tiny jellyfish drifts with the current. It seems fragile, almost invisible, no bigger than your pinky nail, pulsing gently among flickering plankton. It lives its life like any other jellyfish. It grows, it hunts tiny prey, it glows faintly in the darkness. But when danger strikes, a sudden injury, starvation, or harsh change in the water, this little creature does something astonishing. Instead of dying, it begins to transform. It sinks to the ocean floor, anchors itself to a rock, and reverses its own life cycle. Its adult body melts away, turning back into a tiny polyp, its baby form. From there, it can bud new jellyfish clones, starting its life over again and again. This isn't science fiction. It's the real-life story of Turritopsis dohrnii, better known as the immortal jellyfish, a creature that has mastered the secret of biological immortality. But how does it do it? Why does it matter? And what does this tiny, ghost-like drifter reveal about life, aging, and even our own search for immortality? Let's dive deeper and uncover the secret world of the jellyfish that refuses to die. To understand how the immortal jellyfish cheats death, we first need to see how ordinary jellyfish live and die. Most jellyfish follow a simple but beautiful cycle. They start as fertilized eggs drifting in the ocean. These eggs hatch into tiny, free-swimming larvae called planulae, which soon settle onto rocks or shells and grow into polyps. Small, stalk-like colonies that look more like sea anemones than jellyfish. These polyps can stay anchored for years, waiting for the right conditions. When it's time, they begin a process called strobilation, budding off dozens of tiny, disc-like segments that break free and grow into adult jellyfish, called medusae, the familiar bell-shaped drifters we see pulsing through the water. The medusae float, feed, reproduce, and then, when their time is up, they die. That's where the story usually ends. For most jellyfish, there's no going back. They have one chance to grow, spawn, and pass on their genes. But Turritopsis dohrnii has rewritten that rulebook. When threatened by disease, injury, or old age, it does something no other adult jellyfish can. It turns back the clock. Its cells transform, rearrange, and reorganize into a new polyp, starting its life cycle over. In theory, this means it could repeat this cycle endlessly, becoming biologically immortal. Of course, it can still be eaten or destroyed by predators, but left undisturbed, it has no built-in expiration date. So how does this incredible reversal actually work? Next, we'll peek inside its cells to uncover the biological magic that makes immortality possible. To grasp the secret of the immortal jellyfish's time reversal trick, we have to look at its cells, tiny factories packed with instructions for life, growth, and aging. Most living things age because their cells gradually lose the ability to divide and repair themselves. DNA gets damaged. Old cells stop reproducing. Eventually, the body wears out. This is the normal cost of being alive. But Turritopsis dohrnii has a special power called transdifferentiation, an ability that sounds like science fiction but is very real. When this jellyfish is stressed or injured, its adult cells do something remarkable. They transform into completely different types of cells. Imagine if a skin cell could suddenly become a nerve cell, or a muscle cell could turn back into a young, flexible stem cell and then become something else entirely. In most animals, that's impossible. But in the immortal jellyfish, this cellular reprogramming is routine. When it decides to reverse its life, the jellyfish's medusa body shrinks and collapses. Its cells reorganize, rearrange, and rebuild into a new polyp, the earliest stage of its life cycle. From there, it buds off new jellyfish clones, each genetically identical to the original. In effect, it regenerates itself, erasing damage, wiping away age, and restoring youth at the cellular level. It's not just healing, it's a total reboot. Scientists are fascinated by this ability. If we could unlock similar tricks in humans, could we heal wounds perfectly? Could we regenerate damaged organs? Could we even push back the clock of aging itself? These are big questions, and this tiny jellyfish is offering some of the first clues. But how did this fragile creature come to possess such an extraordinary survival strategy? To find out, we'll look at where it lives, and why its environment shaped its unusual path to immortality. To find the immortal jellyfish in the wild, you'd have to drift with the currents through warm, calm seas, like those in the Mediterranean or off the coast of Japan. Here, hidden among the plankton and tiny drifting life, Turritopsis dohrnii pulses quietly, often unnoticed by divers and fishermen alike. At first glance it doesn't look like much, a clear tiny bell, barely 4 to 5 millimeters across, about the size of your pinky nail. It's so delicate and transparent that it can disappear into the water with a flick of its tiny tentacles. Life in these calm seas isn't easy though. The jellyfish faces threats from predators, changes in temperature and salinity, and the constant risk of injury or starvation. Many jellyfish cope with harsh conditions by reproducing quickly and in huge numbers, ensuring at least some offspring survive. But the immortal jellyfish took a different path. Instead of simply producing more and more young, it evolved a survival trick. When times get tough, it doesn't die, it resets. Its ability to transform back into its youthful polyp stage means it can dodge death when other jellyfish would simply vanish from the food chain. If storms churn the water, if food runs out, or if a predator damages it, it collapses back into its earliest form, anchors itself safely to the sea floor, and waits for better days. In this sense, the immortal jellyfish is not just cheating age, it's adapting to survive an unpredictable world. Its power is part of a grand survival strategy honed over millions of years. And while the jellyfish's ability sounds unique, nature holds other surprising examples of animals that defy our usual rules of life and death. Next, we'll meet a few other creatures that push the boundaries of aging and regeneration, and see how they compare to this tiny time traveler. While the immortal jellyfish is the only known animal that can fully reverse its life cycle, it isn't the only living thing that challenges our idea of what it means to age, or not age at all. Take the hydra, a tiny freshwater creature related to jellyfish and corals. Hydras don't revert like Turritopsis, but they have an extraordinary ability to constantly renew themselves. Their stem cells are always active, replacing old cells so efficiently that, in theory, a hydra could live forever, unless it's eaten or destroyed by its environment. Then there's the axolotl, a remarkable salamander from Mexico, famous for its ability to regenerate. Lose a leg? It grows back perfectly. Damage its spinal cord or parts of its brain? The axolotl rebuilds them, cell by cell. This power to regrow complex body parts has made the axolotl a superstar in regeneration research. Even humans have a faint echo of this ability. Our liver can regenerate large sections if damaged, and our skin and blood are constantly renewed by stem cells, but nowhere near the level of a jellyfish or hydra. And then there's the mythical dream of true immortality, an idea that has driven scientists to study these unusual creatures for decades. By understanding how a jellyfish reprograms its cells, or how a hydra dodges aging altogether, researchers hope to learn how to repair human tissues, slow aging, or treat diseases that damage our organs. But nature's secrets are not so easy to borrow. The immortal jellyfish may hold clues, but copying its tricks in humans is far more complex than simply turning back a few cells. So how do scientists even study a creature so tiny and so easily overlooked in the ocean's vastness? Next, we'll dive into the labs and research vessels where biologists work to unlock the jellyfish's coded secret and the challenges they face along the way. Studying a creature as tiny and delicate as the immortal jellyfish is no easy task. Unlike big animals that can be tagged, tracked, or brought easily into a lab, Turritopsis dohrnii drifts silently through warm coastal waters, often invisible to the naked eye. Marine biologists who want to study it must collect samples from the sea, using fine mesh nets that sweep through plankton-rich water at just the right depth. Even then, most of what they catch is a swirl of microscopic life, algae, larvae, tiny crustaceans. Hidden among these, the immortal jellyfish may be just one transparent speck. Back in the lab, the real challenge begins. Scientists must keep these jellyfish alive in carefully controlled tanks that mimic their natural ocean environment. The water must be warm, clean, and gently moving. Any sudden change, too much light, a slight drop in temperature, too much current can stress the jellyfish and trigger its transformation. Researchers observe the jellyfish under microscopes, watching for the moment it decides to reverse its life cycle. When the medusa form starts to deteriorate and melt into a new polyp, scientists take samples, hoping to catch the exact chemical and genetic signals that spark this incredible transformation. They use special stains and genetic tests to see which genes switch on and off during this process. Bit by bit, they try to map the jellyfish's blueprint for immortality, a complex puzzle hidden in strands of DNA and delicate shifting cells. Yet the work is painstaking and slow. The jellyfish's tiny size makes it fragile. Its transformation isn't something that happens on command. It must be triggered by the right kind of stress. Too much and it dies for good. Too little and it drifts on, refusing to show its secret. Still, every small breakthrough brings us closer to understanding the immortal jellyfish's unique biology. And with each discovery, we glimpse possibilities that might change how we think about aging, healing, and perhaps one day, extending life itself. But what does this mean for humans? Next, we'll look at how this jellyfish's secrets might help unlock new medical frontiers, and why true immortality might always remain just out of reach. So, could the secret of the tiny jellyfish one day help humans cheat death? It's a tempting thought, but the reality is more complicated than simply copying nature's trick. Scientists studying Turritopsis dohrnii hope to uncover how its cells switch back to a youthful state. If we understood this process fully, we might find ways to coax human cells to do something similar. Imagine reprogramming damaged heart tissue, regenerating nerve cells after an injury, or reversing the wear and tear of aging skin. Some of this isn't as far-fetched as it once sounded. In 2006, scientists discovered how to turn ordinary adult human cells back into induced pluripotent stem cells, flexible cells that can become many types of tissue. This breakthrough won a Nobel Prize and showed that, at least in the lab, some human cells can indeed be rebooted. But translating the jellyfish's full body time reversal to humans is a whole different challenge. Our bodies are vast, with trillions of cells organized into complex organs. Resetting all those cells safely without causing cancer or losing vital information is a huge scientific mountain to climb. And immortality raises other questions too. Aging, after all, isn't just about cells getting old. It's part of a delicate balance that evolved to protect us from runaway cell growth and disease. If we carelessly erase this balance, we might create more problems than we solve. For now, what the immortal jellyfish really gives us is hope and clues. Its life cycle shows us that nature holds answers to puzzles we once thought were unsolvable. By studying this delicate drifter, scientists are already finding hints that could transform regenerative medicine and how we treat aging-related diseases. But the real lesson of the immortal jellyfish might be something deeper, that life on Earth is full of astonishing strategies for survival, and sometimes The smallest, most overlooked creatures hold the biggest secrets. Next, we'll see how this jellyfish is spreading across the world's oceans, and whether its unique power comes with a hidden cost. While the immortal jellyfish might sound like a rare wonder hidden in warm seas, the truth is it's quietly spreading across the globe, hitching rides on ocean currents and ships that cross vast distances. In recent decades, scientists have found Turritopsis dohrnii far beyond its original home in the Mediterranean. It now drifts in warm and temperate waters around the world, from Japan to the Caribbean and even parts of the Atlantic. How did this tiny wanderer go global? The answer lies in how humans have transformed the oceans. Cargo ships and tankers take in seawater as ballast to stay stable on long voyages, then release that water in distant ports. This ballast water often carries tiny stowaways, plankton, larvae, and yes, even the immortal jellyfish. Once released into a new habitat, this jellyfish's unique trick gives it an edge. If local conditions get harsh or food runs low, it can simply reset, wait, and try again. Over time, this resilience has helped it establish populations in places it never naturally lived before. But this spread has raised questions for marine scientists. Could the immortal jellyfish become an invasive species? Might it compete with native jellyfish or plankton, upsetting delicate food webs? Could swarms form, clogging fishing nets or harming local ecosystems? So far, there's little sign of massive outbreaks. The immortal jellyfish is so tiny and fragile that it rarely forms giant blooms like some larger jellyfish do. Still, its slow, quiet expansion shows how even the smallest creatures can travel the world in an age of global shipping. This tiny drifter reminds us how connected the oceans have become, and how a single species, armed with an unusual survival trick, can slip unnoticed into new corners of our blue planet. Next, we'll explore how the story of this jellyfish connects to ancient human dreams of eternal life, and why the quest to conquer aging has fascinated us for centuries. Long before scientists discovered the immortal jellyfish, humans were dreaming about escaping death. Every culture has its legends, fountains of youth, magic elixirs, secret springs hidden deep in enchanted forests. The idea of reversing age and living forever runs like a golden thread through myths, religions, and folklore. The ancient Greeks told of Eos, the goddess of dawn, who asked Zeus to grant her mortal lover eternal life, but forgot to ask for eternal youth. He lived forever, but shriveled and shrank until only his voice remained. In medieval Europe, explorers searched for the Fountain of Youth, a mythical spring said to restore youth to anyone who drank from it. Stories of this magical water inspired real voyages, driven by the same hope that we might cheat time. In China, emperors sought potions of immortality made from exotic herbs and precious metals, sometimes poisoning themselves in the process. Alchemists dreamed of a philosopher's stone that could grant endless life. Today, our fascination with immortality hasn't faded. It's simply moved into science. From anti-aging creams and cryogenic freezing, to genetic engineering and regenerative medicine, we still chase the dream of extending youth and pushing death further away. The immortal jellyfish stands as a real-life echo of these ancient myths, a tiny creature that, against all odds, resets its clock again and again. It's not a fountain, a stone, or a legend. It's living proof that nature holds secrets we're only beginning to understand. Yet while we dream of immortality, the jellyfish reminds us that endless life isn't just about avoiding death, it's about adapting, transforming, and surviving in an ever-changing world. In our final part, we'll bring it all together. What this humble creature really tells us about life, resilience, and the true meaning of immortal. In the end, the immortal jellyfish is more than just a biological curiosity. It's a quiet reminder that immortality, at least in nature's hands, is rarely about staying exactly the same forever. Instead, it's about the power to change, to adapt, to begin again when the world demands it. This tiny drifter doesn't fight time like humans dream of doing. It doesn't freeze itself in youth or cling to its adult form forever. Instead, it embraces transformation, melting its old self away to return to its earliest stage, ready to grow once more. Its story is a lesson hidden in a fragile bell of jelly. Real survival isn't about perfect preservation. It's about constant renewal. In a way, the immortal jellyfish lives a cycle of rebirth more ancient than any myth humans have told about eternal life. It reminds us that in the ocean's deep currents and hidden reefs, nature is full of solutions we're only starting to see. One small creature drifting on the tides can hold secrets that challenge what we think we know about aging, healing, and survival. Perhaps true immortality for humans will never mean living forever unchanged, but learning from nature's quiet teachers how to repair, to adapt, to renew. Maybe, like the jellyfish, we too can find ways to turn the end into a beginning, again and again. So next time you stand by the sea, imagine that far beneath the waves, a nearly invisible jellyfish might be drifting, ready to become young once more. A ghost of the deep, carrying one of the strangest and most hopeful secrets life has to offer.